Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastian Envy Strong Style Cinephile, one half of your reigning, defending, Motivate Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions, of course. Now, is the direction of Marvel TV projects set to change and set to change for the better? Let's geek about it for a scant few minutes, because apparently, according to this Hollywood Reporter article that came out, long article, went into some great details on some surprising stuff on the inner workings of Marvel's process and their approach to their Disney Plus shows, their streaming content, and starting with Daredevil, things are apparently going to change, because it seemed that the way they were going about things before is they had this mentality that they would write the show, shoot everything, and then if there was any issues with it, they'd fix it in post. And they had a lot of the guys that were on the movie side of things helping out with the television product, which are two totally different things that require two totally different mindsets. Now, you have people who can work in both, and that's good, but it's good if you have people that in the room that are just specific, like that's their thing, that's like what they shine at, and Marvel hasn't exactly had that. So apparently they looked at the first handful of episodes for this long first season of Daredevil, Born Again, which apparently I think it was like 18 episodes, which I was like, good Lord, how long are the episodes going to be? Are they going to be like 30 minutes or 60 minutes, 40 minutes? Like, what are we looking at to have that kind of episode order? And then they got a full like 2-season order. So this is a lock that it's coming. And some of the bean counters, Feige, I guess, and the rest, looked at some of those episodes and were kind of disappointed, borderline disgusted even, perhaps. And apparently they, according to this article, they quietly let go of writers Chris Ord and Matt Corman, and also released the directors for the remainder of the season as part of a significant creative reboot of the series. Now, the show's currently on the hunt for new writers and directors to finish some of the other episodes. Now, apparently they're going to keep some of the elements of those episodes, which apparently didn't even have Matt Murdock in costume as Daredevil until episode 4. It's Daredevil, but they didn't have Daredevil until episode 4. Now, that right there is just a stupid mistake. And just, it was like, I guess, going to be like a more of like a legal drama up until that point. And it's like, that's not what we're here for. And a lot of these people, it just kind of confirms some of the worry and the apprehension that people had about this reboot or reset, refresh, whatever it is they're calling it, because we all loved the Netflix series. I mean, for me, first season was the best. Other ones, like, kind of diminishing returns on them for various reasons or whatever. But Charlie Cox was a spot-on, picture-perfect casting, a la your Robert Downey Jr. as Stark, your Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Like those sort of just nailed it sort of casting. That's who Charlie Cox was. Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin was phenomenal. They brought him back in Hawkeye. Didn't really do him right. He's apparently going to show up in Echo, so as Charlie Cox. As Daredevil, going to show up in Echo, so it remains to be seen how they kind of look in that. But we were kind of worried about how the show was going to be, because they kind of told us off top that it was going to be different. It wasn't going to be like, as, I hate those words, God, dark, gritty. It wasn't going to be that visceral sort of action that we got from the Netflix Daredevil series. And people harped on and really shit upon Daredevil appearing in She-Hulk. I was fine with it and what they did with it, just because of the context of She-Hulk and how She-Hulk is kind of more that light, funny, comedic type of stuff. Now, would I want to see the Daredevil that we saw in She-Hulk for the bulk of his own show, in his own sort of world, in his own pocket of the Marvel world? Not really. But it was fine with She-Hulk. I'm fine with that. But this whole report kind of justifies what some of the issues that people had with what they were going to do and how they were going to take this very successful thing that everybody like universally liked and praised, and then turn it into, you know, whatever it is they're going to turn it, something apparently crappy, with the moves that they made, where they said after just a handful of episodes, no, we got to scratch this. We got to go back to the drawing board, maybe not to total scratch, but we have to really rethink what we're doing, and we have to rethink our process. That's the big thing. It's their process that they're redoing. One of the things that is quoted in this article is that Marvel didn't hire showrunners, but instead depended upon, one of the things that was made, one of the things noted in this article is that Marvel didn't hire showrunners, instead depended on film executives to run its series. As Marvel does for its movies, it relied on post-productions and reshoots to fix what wasn't working. So it's not like they got stuff right, they wrote stuff well, which is like a lot of the series. I know WandaVision won an Emmy, and as I've said many times in many of my videos, that the shows start off strong and then kind of peter out towards the end. Now, if they had a more dedicated writer, a more dedicated writing room, and more like a TV-born showrunner, would they have stuck the landing on these episodes? Who knows? Would they have been better because they would have been shot better, not shot with, all right, here's 13 scripts that like the film guys wrote or whatever. Let's shoot it all, and then if there's issues that crop up, we can fix it in post, or we can reshoot things, that sort of thing, instead of approaching it off top with a better plan and a better script and better people behind it, because they're more TV minded and know television. So the fact that they weren't doing this and then kind of wonder why things kind of went off the rails, it's like, well, what did you think was going to happen? On the subject of, is the Marvel TV machine slowing down? We're trying to marry the Marvel culture with the traditional television culture, said Brad Winderbaum, Marvel's head of streaming, television, and animation. It comes down to, how can we tell stories in television that honor what's so great about the source material? I'm glad this happened. I'm glad that they saw stuff was just so wrong, and they're endeavoring to fix it, that they're going to fix the process. They're going to fix how they're doing things. Because apparently this sort of approach, because the Hollywood Reporter article touched on Secret Invasion and why that kind of sucked, by and large. Apparently there was a bunch of infighting and a bunch of cliques kind of taking sides against each other, and there's some replacements of people behind the scenes and a whole just bunch of drama and bullshit going down, which gave us a bad product. They were running out of time to shoot some scenes because they were going to lose actors because of scheduling conflicts and shit like that. So they just had to get stuff shot, no matter if it was a subpar script that they were working from. So it's just, Marvel has, maybe it's a little bit like hubris a bit, that they were basically printing money in phase, 2 of their movies. And starting off strong with WandaVision, it just got a little bit kind of overconfident and just expected to just everything they touched to be successful. Anything they jotted out there, anything they threw out there with a comic book character of theirs to be successful, and they ran into reality, and now they're having to adjust, which is fine. I know people harp on and I've, like I said, diminishing returns of each and all these series, and the fact that you have to watch 50 different other things to understand what's going on, or you have to watch all this TV stuff to understand what's going on in the movies. It seems, according to this report, they're wanting to get to multiple season serialized storytelling, which is cool. I like that. That's what we want. More time for stuff to breathe, more time for us to get to know the characters, more time for them to develop and evolve and change and grow. They are fixing the process. Another quote says, "We need executives that are dedicated to this medium, that are going to focus on streaming, focus on television," says Winderbaum, because they are two different forms. Article says they are also revamping its development process. Showrunners will write pilots and show Bibles. The days of Marvel shooting an entire series, from She-Hulk to Secret Invasion, then looking at what's working and what's not, are done. So again, they had the wrong approach. Now, I like She-Hulk. I think it's one of the more stronger adaptations that adheres closely to the source material, if you've read the source material. I know everybody shit on She-Hulk twerking with Megan Thee Stallion in that episode, but if you know She-Hulk and you know the Peter David run and some of the other runs, that's totally on brand for She-Hulk. So I was fine with what they did, for the most part, with She-Hulk. But just this pivot, starting with Daredevil, I know you can't really do anything about Echo because Echo's in the can. Is it going to affect the Hood, which was also, or not the Hood, Ironheart, who's facing the Hood in her series? Is that going to affect Ironheart? Is that going to, I know they took Armor Wars from being a series to now a movie. Maybe they'll take it back from a movie to a series with this new approach where they're actually going to get television people to handle the television stuff. And then series coming forth, because they've got Wonder Man coming forth. They've got, I think a series with Vision is coming down the pike as well. So they've got stuff. And will this new approach, this proper approach, help matters in the end and help them stick the landing of their series as they come out? All remains to be seen, but yeah, this is a fascinating article. I'll probably link it in the description because it's a fascinating article into the inner workings of things. And again, like I said, just looking at maybe some possible hubris amongst Marvel to think that whatever they did was always going to work. And they got slapped in the face with reality. They have to change things. They have to adapt to evolve and make their product better, which is what we want. We want a better comic book product that'll satisfy the whole comic book fatigue thing. And, there's just reasons to do it. So hopefully this is nothing but a positive. This is nothing but things going up in Marvel TV from here on out. But it remains to be seen. We'll all find out together when these shows drop eventually, because they got kind of put off because of the strikes, which actually, again, kind of benefit things in the end. But we'll all find out together, won't we? But anyway, those are my thoughts on it, scattered as they often are. But you guys out there think, let me know in the comments below. Follow me on social media. Talk to me there. Talk to me here. Until next time, this is Geek.